Hey, this is Mark Wong for GameSpot, and I'm here with Dave Rutter, and we're going to talk a little bit about FIFA.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going really well, thank you.
How's the show been for you so far?
Brilliant. It's a great opportunity for us to get out and start telling everyone about FIFA. We've been kind of hidden away in Vancouver working on it since the last one. And it's great to come out and talk about all the new cool stuff that's in the game.
Well, speaking of cool stuff then, FIFA 12, what are we looking at this year and big changes?
So we've made some very big changes, and we don't usually kind of go to town on E3 and go out and give extended hands-on as we have done this year, but we think we've got a pretty special year for FIFA ahead of us. We've already announced a trinity of gameplay innovations that revolutionise the game this year. One's called Precision Dribbling. It's a close control, high fidelity dribbling mechanic for skilled dribblers in the game. The other one's called Tactical Defending. Big deal for us this year. We've removed the old mindless button press and introduced a kind of more cerebral tactical defending system, which allows you to basically be engaged in the game when you don't have the ball. And then wrapped all around that is the player impact engine, a real-time physics engine for the first time in FIFA, which leads this amazing kind of variety of outcomes from collisions as well as fluidity in the game.
So the player impact engine is something that I know a lot of people have been interested in. Can you tell us a little bit more about it and how it works?
Sure, so it's been in development by the amazing team back in Vancouver. Hi guys, I don't know, I'd just like to say what an amazing group of people. They've been working on it for over 2 years. We determined a couple of years ago that to get to the next level of authenticity, of physicality of players in the game, we would need to replace our current physics engine for the player collisions with a proper real-time physics one. So essentially every nuance of collision is now modelled with real physics. You've got basically every point of contact, the velocity, the angle leads to the outcome. So as I say, a near limitless variety of outcomes. What it also allows us to do is tell how hard and where the collision took place. So things like injuries, we call them true injuries, can now occur throughout the game, be picked up on things like our career mode and also presentation and commentary.
So the other big thing that's in the game this year is EA Sports Football Club. This is the online thing. This is a big deal, right?
It's a very big deal. So we have a huge, massively passionate fan base. They love the game, they play it constantly. We have over 2.5 million people playing FIFA every week. We also have over 4 million people going onto our website, exchanging videos, screenshots and talking and bantering about the game too. So with those two things and the real world of football, what we wanted to do was kick this off with FIFA 12. It's the new heartbeat of the game, and essentially what it is everything that you do in FIFA now matters to you personally. You will gain experience points from playing the game. The more stuff you do, the more experience points you'll get. They'll go to your profile. That profile will stay with you for the rest of your gaming career, and essentially you'll level up, you'll be able to compare yourself against your friends, you'll be able to compare your kind of status against the rest of the world. You'll also hear news about what your friends have been up to, where they're winning, where they're losing. And one of the big key features as well is a system we call Support Your Club. You're basically able to say, I'm a Leicester City fan, along with all the other Leicester City fans. Every time we play the game, we'll accumulate XP for Leicester City. It'll be averaged out by how many fans there are, so we get an average kind of indication of the skill of Leicester City fans, their dedication to the game, and then ultimately what ends up happening is the season lasts a week. At the end of that week, teams will be promoted and relegated based on how good the fans are. You don't have to play with Leicester City, you can play with any team you want, but ultimately, me as a fan, that's what I get, and obviously it's a live service. So we're actually taking inspiration from the real world of sport, ripping it in and pushing it into the game. So say on the last day of the season, we can introduce a challenge which is you are Blackpool, you are 2-1 up, kind of survive the Man United onslaught and save your Premier League status or whatever. So we're going to be pushing stuff like that into the game.
The really interesting thing that I saw with this actually was in your presentation is that it's going to integrate with other versions of FIFA, is that right? Across mobile?
Sure, so we're kicking it off with FIFA this year with FIFA 12 on PlayStation 3, 360 and PC. The key thing there is from that point forward your career or your profile begins. We'll be then branching out onto other things too, and we'll make sure it's persistent online and it's kind of connected to the rest of the world.
So how's that going to work for owners of the other games? Are they going to have to pay to get access to this service if they're owning an old
So we're kicking off with FIFA 12 and it will be at no additional charge.
Great stuff. So,
Yes.
so I've got to ask then, I've actually just been and seen PES and their new AI features and stuff. What do you think about the game? I mean, is it something that you look at when you're developing FIFA?
We do. We pay close attention to all our competitors. We are naturally interested in what they're doing. They're our closest competitor as far as football video games are concerned. But ultimately, we're really proud of what we've done this year. We've revolutionised the gameplay with those 3 core features. We've done a lot of work ourselves on CPU AI intelligence this year, a feature we call Pro Player Intelligence. Basically the next generation of CPU AI. Last year we had Personality Plus. This year it's about the team looking around, seeing who they're playing alongside and knowing the strengths and the weaknesses of their teammates and being able to play the ball to, say, a Peter Crouch who's an aerial threat, knowing he's an aerial threat and adapting their play to try and suit that.
So one of the other things I've got to ask actually, so it's an annual franchise, You guys have got new features every year, right? Have you just got a huge stockpile of features you're sitting on and you just trickling them out every year?
We do have quite a lot. We also have a pretty clear vision of where we want to get to for the future, and we're continuing down that path. We're listening to our fans, we're refining the game based on their feedback as well as surprising them with innovations that perhaps they weren't expecting. But ultimately, we have this amazing rich source of material which is called football or soccer, depending on where you're watching in the world. And ultimately, every game of football I watch or go to, same for the rest of the team. On a Monday after the weekend's matches, there'll be emails going around saying, go and check out this YouTube clip. The game was played on the weekend, amazing moment of 1 minute and 41 seconds. We got to get that into the game. So we have an amazingly rich source of inspiration, and naturally we're using that.
Do you ever think you get to the point though where you got, you know what, we've stuck enough features in FIFA now, this is it, do you ever think you'll make the perfect football game? Ever think you'll reach that point?
Good question. I guess I've been making football video games for over 15 years now. We've got other veterans of football video gaming on the team too. We have new guys joining as well and kind of creating really cool stuff. And ultimately, no matter how good our game is, there's always new things that we see every game we watch that we can try and put in, as well as cool stuff like the EA Sports Football Club. That's just totally out there as far as the game concept is concerned. Getting that into the game and giving people a live service based on the real world of sport and the kind of reciprocal relationship we have as the virtual one, I think is really cool.
So we got some questions from the readers now, and I took a few from the forum page. So this one is from PC Rules, and you're going to guess what this one is about. He wants to know, I'd like to know if the PC version is going to have the current year's engine rather than last year's.
Sure, so last year with FIFA 11 was the first year that we took our PlayStation 3 and 360 next-gen AI and put it onto PC. This year we'll have details about exactly what is in PC, I think around about July time, but I can assure all the PC gamers out there they will not be disappointed.
Great stuff. Following on from that then, on Twitter I've got Griffmon who says, I've heard talk about the way changes in injuries work. Any info on that would be great.
Sure, so the player impact engine, because it's a real-time physics engine, we're monitoring and harvesting data on the players on every frame. So if a player comes in and collides with, say, a knee, we know how hard, in what direction and what it's done to that part of the body. At that point we can actually determine whether or not an injury has occurred and go, okay, medium injury, he'll go down and he'll be clutching his knee and it will go out. The idea there being that because the player impact engine gives us a lot of nuance, everything from very small collisions right the way up to brutal two-footed challenges from a player toppling over or going head over heels, stuff like that. We have every level of nuance, so we can actually mimic and kind of create these emergent injuries.
So this one comes from Joseph Barron from the UK, and he says, have they made an effort to make the AI player transfers in career mode more realistic? He says it's sport the mode in FIFA 11.
I'm sorry to hear he didn't like the mode. We did a lot of good work in career mode last year, but we know it is the most popular offline game mode in the game, and the people that play that play it to death. So we have done a lot of cool work in our game modes this year, in particular career mode. We'll have details about that when we start releasing more information in July. So stay tuned and be patient if you can, guys.
Cool. This one comes from Dale Rogers, who says, who will be the commentators? Please say Chris Kamara.
So I won't say Chris Kamara, although I think he's a brilliant commentator. We're not announcing who our commentary team is this year until later this year. So I'm sorry to kind of bat like a cricket bat all these questions back to some of them, but we will have really exciting news about a bunch of things coming up later this year.
I like this one as well. This is a really good one. This is from Danny O'Dyer. He says, any chance indoor mode is back yet? It's been asked 3 years running.
I know,
so,
we get asked a lot. I think I've been asked about 100 times in interviews already this week. We have no intention of bringing back indoor football this year. We know it's really popular, but for me and the team back in Vancouver, our priority and our focus has been that 11-a-side club match feeling. We're going to continue doing that, and I'm sorry that the guys aren't going to necessarily get it this year.
That's great. Well, thanks very much for coming to talk to us about FIFA. When can we see the game on shelves and on what platform?
Sure. So it's on all the usual suspects. We make FIFA for just about everything, and I think we're saying the fall or autumn at this point.
Great stuff. Thanks very much for coming.
Cheers, man. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.